Welcome, everyone, to episode 38 of the Single Malt Strategy Podcast. I am your host, John, the Strategy Wargamer, and I have a great episode for you guys today. I have Dan Lind, the game director of Hearts of Iron 4, as well as my co host, Eric Tortuga. Welcome, guys. Welcome to this awesome episode. And how are you guys doing today?
Pretty good, pretty good. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, I'm very excited to have the game director of Hearts of Iron 4, the illustrious Hearts of Iron 4 that we all know and love. And yeah, I'm very anxious to just pick your brain at literally everything Hearts of Iron 4. So I think before we just dive into the meat of that, I wanted to kind of get a little of the background. I wanted to kind of dive into your history of strategy gaming. So before we begin, what were your favorite strategy games growing up?
Let's see. So the one that sticks out the most, I think the first Civilization is probably the one I played initially, because there wasn't a lot of other really big grand strategy games back then. I think I was very into RTSs for a while. The first the Dune actually was Dune 2, because Dune 1 was like a side scroll, right? Played that quite a lot. This was back on Amiga and stuff like that.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and yeah, I'm starting to get old now.
I remember Dune 2, so you're in good company.
Yeah, and then I think like everybody else in my teens, I got really sucked into StarCraft and tried to play it a lot. There was just that entire period of my life was a lot of your RTSs what was it called? That one you have. The sequels are called Supreme Commander now, but there was.
Oh yeah.
What was the initial one? It's
Total Annihilation.
Yeah, the robot empires and stuff. And
that's right.
I'm honestly thinking maybe I got some inspirations for going more grand strategy with those, because they're the first RTSs that have sort of supply lines and stuff like that, right?
Hmm.
That was the game that kind of inspired you to start developing strategy games?
I think maybe it's the one we played a lot, and it actually felt more like a strategy game rather than who can click the fastest, which a little bit that StarCraft is, right? I mean, yeah, it's strategy too, but a lot of it is dexterity and stuff as well. But I was also hugely into tactical games. I played the XCOM games a lot. I like the new ones as well. Jag the Lions as well is another one.
So these were the first ones you were playing. When's the first time you started programming your own game? Did you do mods first, or how'd you enter the scene?
So let's see, what was I working on? When I started as a programmer primarily. The games I was working on was actually quite different, because I was also very much into space games. Mm-hmm. So I was sort of trying to develop my own kind of elite game. So a lot of very technical things like generating solar systems and planets and stuff like that. I was also starting off work on a kind of a multiplayer submarine kind of cat and mouse game as well.
Oh.
Before I started at Paradox. Oh yeah, I remember the game I was playing was which one could have been Anno 1400 maybe or something. Quite a bit before I started. The first Paradox game I played though was Hoi 2, I think.
Yeah, I remember the first time I actually picked up a Hearts of Iron game. I think I was on 34th Street in Midtown Manhattan. And I remember seeing it on the shelf, and I remember grabbing it and flipping the box, and I was just like, no way. I could not believe that you can play any nation in World War II, and just it for me at that time, I think this was the 90s. I think, and it was just so unbelievable, and that just kind of kicked off my love for Paradox. After that, it was just Victoria and then EU, and it was just, then I got lost, and 30 years later, I'm playing Hearts of Iron 4.
Yeah, I mean the play any nation thing I think is part of our real core formula. So what kind of makes our games special? We don't really have AI nations that you can't play, stuff like that.
So Hearts of Iron had a long and illustrious history from Hearts of Iron 1. And there, I mean, if you're looking at it, Hearts of Iron 1, Hearts of Iron 2, Hearts of Iron 3, and then 4, you have major changes through each of them, from the graphics to actual things you can do to the amount of hexes. I remember when you guys went from Hearts of Iron 2 to Hearts of Iron 3, that was just like epic because I mean, I think it was like quadruple the amount of hexes. I mean, it was something ridiculous. It was
Yeah, I think we went from like, what was it, like 4,000 provinces to like 16,000 or something like that.
It was nuts. I remember it was awesome. I literally spent I think probably months, if not years, just playing that game and just calling out from work and calling out from school. It's like, yeah, I'm sick, and just make it a whole Hearts of Iron kind of day.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of curious, when did and how did you become the director of Hearts of Iron 4? When did that whole project start kicking off?
So I'll go back all the way to like Hoi 3 development, I guess. So like during Hoi 3,